The second Mason and Camron went live, you could just feel the chaos loading up. And sure enough, the target of the night, Dame Dash again. Cam leaned in with that classic Harlem smirk like, "Hey yo, somebody call a dentist, man." Dame out here losing teeth like scratch-offs. The room exploded. Mai almost fell clean out his chair laughing, clutching his mic like he just heard the joke of the year. Cam wasn't done either. He kept going saying,
"Killer, what's
Murder,
good,
what's good,
man?
bro? How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. There's a lot going on, man.
What's going on now?"
I don't know.
I gotta stop, B. I'm not doing all this corny shit no more. I'm done with it. I'm gonna just sue you. I'm not gonna look like a clown no more. Because I gotta defend myself in the algorithm. If you say something about me that's not right, I'm putting a hit on you.
"We gotta call in a pro team this time. Forget a toothbrush. Bro needs a whole squad." The entire studio lost control. Producers were wiping tears, cameras were shaking, and the chat was blowing up faster than a mixtape drop in 2003. Twitter caught wind and went wild. Memes, clips, and throwback Rockefeller pics popping up like old wounds being reopened. Meanwhile, you know Dame was somewhere fuming, pacing around, remembering when he used to cut Mase and Cam their checks. Now, he's the punchline of the biggest show in hip-hop talk. But that's Harlem energy. They don't let anything slide. Mason and Cam flipped what could have been beef into straight comedy gold. They turned shade into entertainment, sports talk into a roast session, and even threw in some free dental advice just to twist the knife a little deeper. The internet's still catching its breath after that one. The next day, Dame tried to clap back, but it was already too late.
I don't want to walk in the courtroom, but I guess I had no choice, and I'll do it.
How's everybody doing today, man?
Yeah, man. How did we get here, man? That's all. Some days I just wake up wondering, how did we get here? That's all I want to ask. How did we get here, man? It's just, I had no idea.
The internet crowned Mai and Cam the new kings of petty, and social media was eating it up like Sunday brunch. Dame went on IG Live talking about how real men don't gossip, but fans flooded his comments with toothbrush emojis and dentist jokes. It was brutal. One fan even wrote, "Bro, you lost more teeth than deals lately," and the chat lost it.
I don't know how to deal with these things because I'm used to violence. I'm used to dealing with things a different way. I'm not used to going to court, but now I am. So that shit. I'm not beefing with y'all. I'm putting a hit on you. And that is a lawsuit.
My problems is did the lawn man come to cut the grass? Is the pool clean? You know, I don't have these kind of problems, man. My life is easy, man. Beautiful wife, beautiful life, great kids, man. They can have it, man. I'm bowing out.
The man couldn't even defend himself without getting ratioed every 2 seconds. You could tell he was trying to keep his cool, but that Harlem energy hit different. Cam and Mase had already set the tone, and now every meme page was dragging Dame for sport. By the afternoon, clips from It Is What It Is hit over 1 million views, and the segment had nicknames. People were calling it the Dental Dash Roast. Harlem turned pain into punchlines and made it viral. Even other rappers couldn't resist chiming in. A few dropped laughing emojis under Mase's post, while others were quoting Cam saying, "He needs a team, not a toothbrush." It turned into a whole cultural moment.
Cam, stop tearing down your brothers, bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man. Oh, not to be honest with you, Murder, the thing about it is that you don't know is that you win it too. You just don't pay it no mind. What I'm about. They bring you
in it too.
You in it.
Don't tear me down. Don't tear Mase down. And you know what I'm talking about.
A blend of comedy, shade, and Harlem pride that reminded everyone. These two still know how to control a room, a mic, and the entire internet.
They bring you up about twice a month, you just don't hear it. You just ain't paying it no mind. You too high for the voice to reach you, but you definitely in it.
I need you to stop doing that, man. I need you to stop beefing with everybody black. Go with somebody white.
And the wildest part, they did it all while smiling like they ain't just end a man's week on live TV. By midweek, the story had already taken a wild turn.
We're very entertaining, but we also want to be informative. So today I brought in 2 of Las Vegas' finest dentists. These ladies are the best dentists in the state of Nevada. That's why I brought them on the show. I wanted to start off asking questions, but my man Sin City wanted to lead off.
Oh, so I'm starting to see people lose teeth. Is it because of the...
Reports started floating that Dame was planning to pull up on Mase and Cam, but honestly, nobody believed it. Fans were joking that he'd show up with a dental mirror instead of a lawyer. The internet was ruthless. Somebody even leaked old clips of Dame yelling back in the Rockefeller days, trying to hype himself up like he was still that boss. But
Sorry.
Are we missing the joke?
No, but
Did we miss
we know niggas who teeth just be falling out, so I don't
They
know
just
if it's
falling out of their mouth.
Okay, let's talk
Like
about
they
that.
didn't even have like trauma. Like they're not.
No, they're in the middle of a conversation, and then they be like, yo.
It's a plastic tooth. Okay, but
now it just looked like a man fighting for respect that Harlem already repossessed. The memes were endless. People edited his old speeches with dentist ads in the background. And while all that was going on, Mase and Cam acted completely unbothered. They went live again, sipping coffee and laughing like 2 uncles at the cookout. Cam said, "We didn't even say nothing crazy."
That's what I'm saying, literally.
Okay, so then they need to start looking at implants,
Okay.
right? So if we're talking about their stuff is falling out,
Seriously, like.
sorry, I don't want to laugh.
No, we don't
Like,
wanna have
I don't
to-
wanna-
Nah, that's okay.
No, what I'm saying is,
disrespectful
we
to
don't
my
want y'all to
people.
miss that we're just laughing because it's not y'all. It's a few people in mid-conversation.
We just told the truth. Mate added, "Facts. It ain't shade if it's accurate." That line went instantly viral. Everyone started quoting it, turning it into a full-blown trend. "It ain't shade if it's accurate" became the new Harlem motto overnight. By then, even Dame's old allies were staying quiet. Nobody wanted to get caught in the middle of that smoke. Harlem had spoken loud and clear. And when those 2 start laughing, you already know somebody's reputation just got another cavity. A few days later, Dame tried flipping the script.
Wait, hold on. Oh, God.
And they try to, so that's why
Here's the problem is that the best treatment for missing teeth is implants. Unfortunately, a lot of people cannot afford.
they're expensive.
So when your teeth or dentures is like infected, it could cause something like with the brain?
Yeah.
Yes, oral infections like the bacteria that can travel throughout your mouth, and like chronic inflammation. I mean, like that is the root cause of all disease.
You know what? That explains a lot. That explains a lot. Niggas could lose their mind, basically.
He went on a podcast saying Mate and Cam were jealous of him and that the jokes were just hate in disguise. But man, that only made things worse. The hosts couldn't even keep straight faces, and clips of them holding in laughter went viral before the episode even dropped. Fans were roasting Dame like, "Bro, they ain't jealous, they just hilarious." One person commented, "How you go from mogul to meme in 1 week?" It was non-stop chaos. The whole internet treated it like an open mic night at Dame's expense. Meanwhile, Cam posted a selfie with the caption, "A smile a day keeps the shade away."
It's progressive, and they're, hey,
Yeah, your mind.
Honestly,
I start bugging out.
Yeah.
get out of here, man. Sucker.
So people will have like a perfect smile, but don't realize the bone underneath of it is actually deteriorating.
that's why you like if you're talking to someone mid-conversation, it could just come out like.
You want a blaster for what color there?
Yeah. Yeah. How, like, what's the time limit, or how many days you think somebody has to go without brushing their teeth till they start losing shit?
What?
And that was it. Game over. Mate jumped in with a laughing emoji and said, "Tell Dame to floss before he speaks on legends." The comment section went nuclear. Even verified rappers were laughing, saying Harlem hasn't been this entertaining since Dipset's prime. What made it even funnier was that every new response from Dame just gave Mase and Cam more material. They didn't need to write jokes. He was handing them out for free. It turned into a one-sided comedy war where Harlem didn't even have to try. By the end of the week, Dame wasn't trending for business moves or deals. He was trending under Toothgate. That's how deep the roast ran. One viral moment and the whole culture couldn't stop laughing.
Being that y'all in y'all field or whatever, I know y'all not supposed to judge or anything. Like you say, you got family members, they got dentists, but do y'all look at that as like the broken teeth as far as dentures, and the veneers is like a class up?
I feel like everybody should experience being broke because you realize so much more. Like
in the Bible, the closest person to Jesus killed them. It always happens.
When you gotta talk like this because you don't want your dentures to fall out, like you biting down.
I just feel like there's some things I need to say today.
Son, do you have dentures?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I just know a lot of people that do.
Oh, okay.
And, you know.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The questions he's asking is stuff that we have witnessed in the last few months. So his questions are really all legit. Like it's stuff that we've been watching.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I have things that I want to say, and I think I want to talk clearly, so I'm not going to sit here and grit my teeth all day.
It doesn't fit, and it's moving around when they're talking and chewing, so they have to stay closed.
I don't care for all that.
I wanted to share something I thought that the viewers might really be, if you have a male audience, like gum disease, oral infections actually associated with erectile dysfunction.
Wow.
That's my hitter, the little lesbian.
All right, ladies, thank you so much. This was very informative, very educational.
Thank you. Well,
I didn't know that when your teeth ain't right, that you start losing your mind. You know, yeah, made a lot of sense. Yeah, man.
Yo,
My bad, sorry.
I used to run up in offices and fight. I could have just sued them. And that's what I should have did. But lawyers make it seem like it's so laborious and so expensive. And you don't want to walk in a building full of cops. You just don't. I don't want to walk in the courtroom. But I guess I had no choice. So I'll do it.
this $300 million lawsuit, did he try to shake you down for like a mil or two? Like that was for real?
Yeah, so
$1 million?
Yeah, so he put up the lawsuit online, and then I sent it to my lawyer. I'm like, just in case, I don't care, because it was a digital paper trail, and I was like, whatever, I'm not tripping on the lawsuit. If I got to go to court and countersue, that's what I do. I don't want to do that. So Daniel was like, I ain't even want to tell you this. Dame said if you just give him $1 million, he'll forget about the whole thing. I was like, no, I'm not giving $1 million to make what go away? A snap battle? But then 2 days later or a day later after that, that's when I seen his post saying, let's all work together, let's be cool, yada, yada.
What we doing? Beefing? Let's bring it back together. Let's all get money. Put everything to the side, man. Nobody got killed.
2 days before that, he did say give him $1 million and it could all go away.
By the weekend, it was officially over for Dame, at least on the internet. Every blog, meme page, and podcast had joined the roast. Even people who didn't follow hip-hop were reposting the clips like it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. Harlem had officially taken over the timeline, and Monty and Cam were sitting on the throne just laughing at the chaos they started.
This whole started with Dame and 50. Dame is beefing with 50 Cent on the internet. I bump into 50 Cent. 50 Cent sees me and be like, Killer, what's up? Getting some money. You know, nigga, what you used to do back in the days, patting your pocket, you getting that money? Cool. Me and 50 good. We ain't got no problem. Dame calls me and says, yo, I seen 50. How you gonna let him pap you up? This is verbatim what Dame said. I'm telling the audience verbatim. Yo, I seen 50, you and 50. How you gonna let them pap your pockets? That ain't Harlem.
Harlem niggas don't do the Pat Pat Club. When you see niggas from Harlem, just give them a pound.
You down with the Pat Pat Club?
We not in the Pat Pat Club.
How you down with the Pat Pat Club letting niggas pat your pockets?
Yo, why he giving you the Pat Pat?
You could tell this wasn't just jokes. It was a reminder of how strong that Harlem bond still is. No matter how much time passes, Mase and Cam know how to make a moment explode. They turned a random live stream into pure internet history. And the best part, they didn't even have to raise their voices, just slick talk and pure confidence. That's real Harlem energy right there. Now, Dame.
I said, Dame, you crazy, whatever, man. However you want to say it's crazy, man. He says, me and 50 going through something on the internet right now. You mind if I bring that up and say that he was paying your pockets? I say, Dame, I don't give a fuck. Now, mind you, pause this story right there. If you gonna say something about 50 cents, what are you calling me for to get my okay if you're beefing with 50 cents? You shouldn't even have to call me about that if you're gonna be talking about 50 cents. Dame gets on the blog and says, yeah, and this nigga Cam let 50 Cent smack him on the ass.
You know, 50 patted him on his hips twice. He gave him a pat.
He's been quiet ever since, probably trying to figure out how to rebrand after becoming a meme legend overnight, but that's what happens when you play with the wrong duo. They'll roast you, trend you, and still look good doing it. So yeah, this whole saga wasn't just a beef. It was a comedy takeover with a side of nostalgia.
So I'm like, yo, why are you smacking Cam on his ass like that? Pause, like what, in this environment?
Not the Pap Club, not the pockets. Which, Cam, that ain't Harlem. How you let a smack you on the ass? But then again, what you supposed to do when a big, strong come over and slap you on the ass? I'm like, bro, that's not what I agreed for you to say. So when he said it, I'm like, yo, why would he say that? I called and asked you. I asked you, could I say that? That's not what you asked, could you say, because I wouldn't agree to that. I did not agree to that. But I didn't say anything. I ignored it. I ignored the whole I just didn't pick up the phone for the nigga because I'm like, so now after that, he does another interview.
And you letting 50 smack you on the hips? And y'all chilling? Something must be going on. A Harlem never lets anybody smack him on the hips, on the ass. Not even in ball, be like, yo, stop, chill, don't smack me on my ass.
Meanwhile, Dame probably somewhere heated, remembering when he used to cut their checks. Now he the punchline on the biggest show in hip-hop talk.
I've never known Dame to be a liar, but the way he was mixing the truth with the lies, bro, that's really, really, really disappointing to see how he was mixing the lies with the truth. And I'm like, bro, I didn't know this nigga was a liar too. He never lied, man. Once I said I didn't like Honor Up, this nigga got personal. But to me, it was all a setup anyway. Bro, I ignored you for wild interviews, and then I say Honor Up is whack, and he go on this campaign.
I think the narrative should be stop talking about Damon so much if you don't want to hear Damon talk.
You come talking about me with an eye patch and no top teeth, I gotta take it easy?
But do remember, I will have teeth next week. How?
So I think it's good for him. I think the internet nowadays is therapy for him. And he turned into the chatty patty that he told everybody else not to be. He probably can't afford to go to therapy right now. So this is probably good for him because he needs therapy.
You know, Cam had Fendi call me yesterday, FaceTime, because he found out, he didn't know I'm the chairman of Revolt right now, but I think he knew I had a show coming and he wanted to be the executive producer. First of all, Fendi, no disrespect, but he don't have a mustache. So I said, Fendi, I don't trust niggas that don't have a mustache, especially dark-skinned niggas that have a mustache. From Brooklyn. But also, Cam plays too much.
So if he's the chairman of Revolt, or if he thinks he's the chairman of Revolt, I just think he's a man sitting in a chair. You see, at the end of the day, if you think if you how the chairman, you the chairman, and everybody in the building got more money than you, so you just want the title boss. The janitor, the secretaries, everybody in the cubicles, programming, marketing. What you want? You want to ask them for lunch money? You are the brokest boss ever. But you're not even the boss. But I'm just saying, how you the boss and you can't get to work? You ain't got no money to get to work. Congratulations. Dame's problem for the last 15 years is that he wants to be the talent because he feels the talent that he got over the years doesn't look out for him. So now he's like, I'm the talent. I'm Billy Pablo. I'm the rock and roll star. Nah, I got my own show, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. And to be honest with you, Dame's talent is finding talent, not being the talent. That's his talent. Not being the talent, finding the talent. So that's why I be looking at it and they be like, yo, shit viral, shit is viral. Viral is not always a good thing. Just being viral for being a goofy, we'll just be laughing at you, nigga. Don't compare the word viral with cool. That's two totally different things. So as far as him being the chairman, I don't give a f.
How do you feel right now? Is this the point of no return? And I'm not asking for right now, I'm asking for what you think about later.
Nah, I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point because this was totally unnecessary. For me, it was totally unnecessary. The way it went about, for me, it didn't have to be public. It didn't have to be all this. I hate repeating how this started. I didn't pick the phone up. All I did was not pick the phone up and you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy.
As I've always said, I don't trust dudes. In the Bible, the closest person to Jesus killed them. And it always happens that your best friend is the person you've given the most to hates you the most for some reason.
There's two things I'm sorry I did for Dame. Set up his Instagram, which he probably would have caught on later in life, and have him start smoking weed. Since he started smoking weed, he's not the same person.
I thought Biggie did that.
Yeah.
I thought he was smoking with Biggie.
Whatever, I smoke a lot, so it wasn't no big deal to me. But I'm a functional. I've been smoking since I was 16, well, longer than that, 15, 16, playing basketball, doing everything else. It don't affect me the same way I see it affects him, to where he needs it. Like,
you just said there's no point of return, so there's really no need of me asking you. You felt you did nothing wrong in this whole situation, right?
Absolutely not, because it isn't like me and Dame haven't had disputes before. We've had disputes, but nobody ever knew that. Nobody ever knew that. When me and Dame, not saying our relationship been perfect from beginning to end, when we got problems, you never heard no problems from me, because all I did was just not pick the phone up. I didn't run to the internet. But he kept going on and on and on. And then on top of that, all I said was, I don't like the movie. I don't like it. Then this whole avalanche came of trying to defame my character, trying to diss me, everything else. It would have been cool for me if he would have been like, all your movies is whack. Some of the shit he said, you ain't have no hit record since you stopped with me, which is not true.
So I have to address it. You gave an opinion on my art, I'm gonna give an opinion on yours. Since Rockefeller, I haven't seen you make a hit record. And to the extent that you're no longer, rapping. So I always wondered about that. I'd be like, I don't understand why you're not putting out these records like you used to.
You know when it got personal for me? Is when he was like, Cam ain't confrontational, this, that, third.
Because I think that thing had happened in front of my cousin where, homeboy punched you in your face and you never had that conversation with me. I had to hear about it through my cousin because you're very non-confrontational. I believe that Sen, who's next to you, everyone, all your friends, and we all know that you've always been very sensitive and that you are very overreactive. So it's hard to tell you the hard truth. But the truth, Cam, is I just feel like, you've been overreacting.
So-and-so punched him in his face. I'm like, damn, you too? That's what you want? Niggas bring up all this shit with me. Niggas talk about my victories. They talk about 2-3 L's I took in my life. And I don't got no problem with that. That's cool. It come with the game. I'm straight with that. Because it's a bunch of ass whippings I done gave out on several different occasions. I don't got no problem with that. But for it to come from Dame, you got some deep hate pores inside that you've been wanting to spew out. And when he said that, I knew it was personal. And that's when I said, all right, let's do personal.
And again, back to the art. So the reason why you're saying you didn't promote Honor Up.
Dame got a movie called Honor Up. He's shooting it on 125th and 12th Avenue.
What he said, it was a lie. So I'm like, why is he lying? And then I'm like, he knows Mook is in there. Pause. In the movie, Smoke Dizza, my OG Daniel, Black, my whole crew. So you trying to diss my whole crew and make what they did whack, but everybody else says it's good. It was in the New York Times. Kanye gave the illest premiere and everyone said it was, everyone has said that. Why would you say that?
Harlem showed the world they still run the conversation, and nobody's safe when Mai and Cam got Wi-Fi. If you love this breakdown, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more wild hip-hop moments. Trust me, the next video is even crazier. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.